Screenfiles.com and review. What I'm looking at today is Jeff Tremaine's The Dirt, which is an autobiography of Motley Crue, the hair band from the 80s. And it's an interesting movie, if only because it's a remarkably tame movie considering the subject matter. Motley Crue are notorious for their antics, everything from fights to sexual infidelity. This band was really notorious in their time, yet their docudrama, their behind the music, is remarkably tame. And this is partially because it feels like a sitcom. It's shot in a very sitcom-y fashion that doesn't benefit the material. In fact, it makes the material look very simplistic. That's not quite the word I want to use, but it's the only thing that comes to mind. It lacks complexity. And that's also the way the story works. There's no real complexity to these characters. They're very simple and not engaging as individuals. I mean, to give you a clue of how uninteresting these characters are, there's a scene where one of the members of the band gets on heroin, and it's told in the most perfunctory, boring manner possible. It's just not very interesting. He gets off heroin almost as quickly, and it's like, oh my God, there's so much fodder here for a fascinating story, but The Dirt is not it. By way of comparison, if you haven't seen 1991's The Doors, directed by Oliver Stone, who is a light years better director than Jeff Tremaine, but that's neither here nor there. In terms of autobiographies based upon singers, because it's a very good one, and it's very interestingly done, it's very well photographed, it's well written, and it really draws you into these characters' lives. You learn more about them. They become more interesting individuals. While The Dirt does the opposite, oddly enough. There's a mystique around Motley Crue. At least I thought so at the time. One of the first songs I heard was Looks That Kill. That was a great video, just in which they parody, or I should say try to imitate, in The Dirt. Oddly enough, the video was better acted originally, but in any case, they try to copy that video in The Dirt. And it just comes off cheesy. And in fact, that's the way I would describe a lot of The Dirt. Just cheesy and not very involving. If you're going to follow this reenactment of Nikki Sixx's book, are terribly boring and shallow people. And maybe they are. It's entirely possible that these people are as boring and as shallow as this movie makes them out to be. But if that's true, do you really want to show that? And I don't think that's the intention that the filmmakers were trying to make. In fact, I think the members of Motley Crue are actually executive producers on this movie. So they actually saw this and went, which is nuts to me. This movie is just so mediocre. It's so blah. It's so not interesting. The characters have no drive other than, I don't know, make money or get laid. And those are fine motivators. But how you go about achieving them is where your characters are interesting. And they're just not interesting here. It is like a sitcom, a really weird sitcom that has female nudity, male nudity, ass shots and that type of thing. And it just is not very good, which is so weird. At the very least, be interesting. And in fact, I would prefer it to be bad, but interesting, as opposed to mediocre, but not interesting. The Dirt, just wipe it from your memory. Not a great movie. I'd watch it if you're a purist for watching movies based upon the lives of musicians, actors, that type of thing. But if you're not, just avoid it. It's not terrible, but that's the problem. If this were the battlefield Earth of musical autobiographies, that would at least be interesting. And I could honestly get into that, especially considering the nature of the band whose story is being told. That would be fascinating. Instead, it's kind of blah. We don't know who these people are really. Their motivations are shallow. They're shallow. And it's just, at times, off-putting, but terribly, terribly mediocre. This is Brian at ScreenFiles.com and Review. Peace.